Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck in case anybody wants to know. We are starting off with 10 of Cups and Page of Swords. I feel like the Emperor has been popping up in so many readings recently. Like maybe the last 4 days or so. Regardless of which deck I'm using, because I've been switching around, just feels significant. Okay. Starting off with 10 of Cups is a feeling of joy, a feeling of contentment. You can feel like things were sort of building up to this point, and it can be one that feels amazing. It can feel fulfilling. Everything can feel very bright. You can feel very present to what's going on. Having Page of Swords here is you in a position where you're sort of absorbing things and also observing things as well. Like absorbing your environment as far as like I'm processing it and observing what's going on. And something could have happened recently where you felt really fulfilled or really happy or just like really good inside, or you could have felt really centered and calm, like something where it would feel like a blissful type of experience. And having you be in this Page of Swords energy can be you in a space where you're noticing that. So you can connect with something and feel like really vibrant in that moment and be like, wow, I'm seeing the way that this is impacting me. I'm seeing the way that this is affecting me internally. So this is something that you would feel present to this in an internal way. And then having Queen of Cups coming out is feeling like taking that part of you that sort of consciously is noticing something and logging that with an emotional part of yourself. So the part of you that understands things and the part of you that processes things and the part of you that's curious about things. Maybe you were looking for something like this. Maybe you've been looking out to be like, what am I really connecting with? Like, what are the things that I do feel drawn to, or what does make me feel happy? And it feels like there's been something that's been confirmed here for you, where you're like, wow, this does bring me excitement, or it does bring me a sense of peace. Like whatever this is that you're feeling, whatever sensation this is, whatever experience this is. So there's part of you that's clocking this, and then having Queen of Cups come out, it feels like the part of you that's intellectually noticing this or observing this is then communicating with the part of you that maybe a part that's more like feeling things but not always so cognizant of what's going on a mental level. And then having the Emperor come out here, I want to get a couple more cards before I dive deeply into the energy of the Emperor, but this can mean something that's going to be like meaningful for you. This can be something where you're like, I want to integrate this into my everyday now, or into my life in some way. I do feel like there's a finding an answer here, or finding something that you may have been looking for, or experiencing something that you may have all of these ideas about it now. Maybe even you could have more questions now at this point, but it's coming from an experience that would feel inspiring to you in some way, and you would feel moved by it. Because I'm seeing this be like, actually, I'm seeing this be the whole experience that you have. Like all of these colors, it's the whole experience, but you see how everything is sort of intertwined with one another? It's like that. And then having you be in this position feels like taking all of these things and separating them into like different categories, or you could have different thoughts. This feels like I'm processing it, I'm breaking things down. And then I'm communicating with this part of me that's reaching out, like, what have you assessed? And it feels like this stuff is then being sort of like transferred over to this part of you that's reaching out and connecting with this sort of like research part of you. Because Page of Swords is the the part of you that's curious about things, where you're like, I want to explore and I want to discover and I want to know about this and I want to put the puzzle together and I have these questions and I'm looking for answers. It's like that type of energy. And this is the part of you that like tunes into things, that feels into things. So I feel like something is being communicated to yourself, like between you and you emotionally here. This can also be somebody around you that's bringing something important to light for you emotionally. Or you could be doing that for someone. And then having the Emperor be here. There can also be an energy where there's like a younger energy and an older energy, because pages can be somebody younger and a queen can be somebody that's a little bit older. Can be something, doesn't have to be that, but it can be one of the ways that this breaks down. And then having the Emperor come out, the Emperor is your livelihood, it's your business, it's what you have going on, it's what you're focused on. And it feels like this is something where there can be an integration now of this. There's the experience, there's wanting to understand the experience and process it. There's then the like integration of it. And you can be like, I want this to be part of what I'm doing, having the Emperor show up here. The Emperor is this really significant part of yourself that like wants to live your life the way that you want to live it, and you could be like, I want to incorporate this into my life. Like it's something that belongs, that I want to belong as part of my experience. Multiple paths, multiple ways to go about this. Something is being thought about. What's going to be happening next? It feels like you're in charge of figuring that out, and I'm seeing you in a period of reflection in consideration of this. So it can be like, what to do now? I'm figuring out what to do now. So you can feel like you're devising a plan, devising the next steps. Some of you, you're planning to connect with someone. This can be plans to socialize, plans to get together, plans for a gathering of some sort, plans to connect, something along those lines. That would make sense too if these are two different energies with the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. They can be hanging out with one another, spending time with one another, or gonna have a conversation with one another. It can be like that type of thing. Having 10 of Cups and having 9 of Cups both come out here, there are themes that carry within these. Having it be Cups coming out, it's going to be a focus on something that's being experienced internally for you. And also, it feels like something important here is coming to light, where there's a recognition of something feeling fulfilling, and it has to do with connecting. This can be a social thing. It doesn't have to be a social thing, but it's something where there's a presence emotionally, and there's something that's being plugged into, or there's an experience that's being had that you feel like this really resonates with me on a deep level. And having 10 of Cups feels like being in that moment of like a really joyful experience, or a really happy experience, or a really fulfilling experience, or a moment that can feel like overwhelming but in a good way. This is something that would be enjoyable. And you may be like, I want to do more of that. So after like coming out of that, you know what this is kind of reminding me of? It's like when you go to an event that you really like a concert or something, just an example, you go to a concert or something and you feel like really alive and really connected, and you can feel the vibrancy of it, and you can be like, I want to do that again. It's just something that you've experienced, that you know you connected with it. And if it feels like it comes at a time when you've been looking to connect with things, where you're like trying to find out like what things in life resonate with you. And so I'm seeing you sort of like walk out of the building, and you're like, where do I go now? Like, what happens now? Where do we go? And it looks too like you're talking with somebody about this, is what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing it be this recognition of like, this feels really fulfilling to me, or this is something that I want. This is something that I want to incorporate. And I wonder too if some of you can see something and feel inspired by it, and then be like, I want to do that with my life. Like maybe you see somebody doing something, like let's just keep this example of like going to a performance or something like that, and you can see that, and you've always been interested in music, and you see somebody like up on the stage performing, and you can like walk out of there being like, now this is so, it's such a sure thing for me. I know that this is what I want to be doing with my time. Like this is fulfilling for me too, because maybe you see somebody having an experience where they look really fulfilled doing what they're doing, or they're like full of light, you know, and you're like, I'm really connecting with that. And I think that's indicating that I want to do something like that, like my own version of that, like that type of thing. Because having the Emperor here feels like this wasn't just something that you experienced once, where you were like a once in a lifetime thing that was a great one-time experience that I have no way of integrating into my life regularly. Having the Emperor here feels like I want to harness the essence of this, and I want to integrate this into what I'm doing with my life. But this is scary for some reason. I'm seeing Nine of Swords. Having Emperor and having Nine of Swords can be like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't, like they can do it, but I don't know if I can do it. This is just an example too. You may not have seen someone doing something and felt this way. Just one of the ways that this can happen. Emperor is about your mission. Emperor is about your path. Emperor is about the things that you are focused on within your life. Having Nine of Swords can feel like there's potentially a shift that will be taking place. Let's say that you've been doing something. So the Emperor in this case can be like a certain role that you're playing, right? And maybe you've been moving through being like, I feel like there's something more, or that this isn't all of it right here. And then you experience something where it's like, this feels like an answer for me. So before I felt almost like something was missing, or like this can't totally be it. And now I'm connecting with something, and it just lights me up in a way like nothing else has been lighting me up right now, and that means something to me. But having the Nine of Swords here can mean that you would have to implement some type of change in order to pursue this, and it can be something where it feels scary to do that. It can feel scary because of the changes that would happen. So there can be thoughts that are about that, where it's worrying, like if I'm not doing this anymore, then what's going to happen with that? Or like, how is this going to work? Or like, what if I'm not able to do that? It can be like these types of thoughts that come up where you can feel really stuck in your head. But at the same time, it feels like you know what you're connecting with here. You know what you want to, because I'm seeing Nine of Cups. So this is like, there's nothing that you need to figure out as far as that. You know what you want. But Nine of Swords can be like, but I'm almost like scared of knowing this thing, or I feel like overwhelmed thinking about this thing, or it's bringing up a lot of anxiety for me, or I'm feeling kind of stuck mentally, even though I know this thing. So it can be hard trying to figure out how to move forward with this. Some of you too, when you experienced this thing, it can be something that was so subtle but touched you in such a deep place within you that it may have been that thing that was like so obvious looking back at it, but you may have not even noticed totally in that moment. So it can be something that feels like, oh, it was right in front of me the whole time, some of you, and now there's like a recognition of that, there's an awareness of that, and then figuring out what to do now that this has been recognized. I do see some of you talking to someone that you're close with that's going to clarify things for you about what you want. I feel like this is a wise figure within your life. Like, having Queen of Cups would be somebody that you'd go to and be like, I'm processing this right now, or like, I had this experience, what does it mean for me? And having Queen of Cups is going to be somebody that you go to that you feel like can empathize so deeply with you, and also help you process and also clarify things for you. So this is somebody that knows you on a deep level, like spiritually, like emotionally, energetically, with the Queen of Cups here. And is somebody that you may see as being like very wise and very tuned in. But also, too, they're able to connect with you because they resonate with you on a deep level. And you resonate with them. Like, I'm seeing you guys sort of, even though you can feel different from this person, because I feel a clear distinction between you and this person. However, at the same time, it feels like they play a role that's very reflective of an aspect of yourself. And when you connect with this person, whoever this is, some of you, this can be a guide or something, or an ancestor, but it can also be someone in real time, like in real life, that you're interacting with. Real life. Where was I going with this? But yeah, it can be somebody or like a being, whatever. When you connect with this energy, you can feel like it connects you with an aspect of your own energy. And so it's kind of like you're talking to yourself when you're talking to them. Even though I'm seeing like a distinction. Again, I don't know how exactly it works, but that's what I'm seeing here with the reading. So they would be somebody that can like intuit things and like make sense of things for you, is the vibe that I get from this. I do get the feeling that you could feel like you're at this point in your life where your soul is asking something big of you, and it can be sort of that point where it's like, which way do I go with this? Like, do I want to answer the call here, or do I want to put the phone down and not? So you can feel this is like exhilarating and exciting, and also that it's like bringing up a lot of intense mental energy for you as well. I'm seeing the Empress on the bottom of the deck. Empress is going to be encouraging you to do the thing that you feel like is empowering, and for you to tune in and follow your intuition, even if it means facing something that can feel really challenging for you. This feels more like a mental challenge than anything. Like you working with yourself mentally through this. Because you're like just about to be on the other side of something. Having Nine of Swords shows you being very close to accomplishing something. And that can be like I'm working through this right now mentally, and you're very close to the Ace of Swords. You're like 2 steps away from it. Because when you go from Nine of Swords, that can be like the climax of a situation where it's like, this is getting so intense for me. And then 10 of Swords is like, and finally it's all over. Like I've worked through it. And then next is going to be the Ace of Swords, where it's like that clarity, like I've made up my mind. I know how to move forward, like that sort of thing. If you decide to go that way. But I am seeing you talk to somebody about like what you want. And this can be like hopes, dreams, and fears that you're talking about with this person. So it can be the really amazing stuff and the really terrifying stuff that's coming up, like all of the things. So this is somebody that can talk to you about like really any spectrum of things that you're experiencing. And also too, having Queen of Cups would be somebody that you would go to if you're, some of you may be the Queen of Cups in this scenario. Some of you may be the Page of Swords in this scenario. The Queen of Cups is going to be somebody that to a Page of Swords, Queen of Cups will be nurturing, grounding, centering, somebody that is like reassuring and comforting, like that type of thing. And the Page of Swords would be the one that's like processing this thing and figuring this thing out and trying to calculate and trying to understand. And I see like a very like it almost feels like mother and child relationship a bit, or like child and guide sort of relationship. Not that it doesn't have anything to do with age. It's like energetically, you know, when you can go to somebody where it's like they have experience or they have wisdom, or you're able to like throw a lot of things at them and they can organize it for you. Like you just brainstorm and like everything comes out of your mouth and they're like, oh, this goes together and this does and this over here, because they can read between the lines because they're like feeling what's going on energetically for you. It's like that type of thing I'm seeing the relationship be like with them. And obviously somebody that cares about you. So, but it can feel in like I'm getting this again, like a nurturing type of thing, like a motherly type of role. But even though I'm saying motherly, like gender has nothing to do with this. It's like the archetype of that. Because you can have somebody that identifies as whatever, and they can be like a nurturing force in somebody's life, and that's going to be a feminine energy to be receptive, and that can just be one side of many different ways that they show up. So just for the purpose of specifically what I'm seeing here energetically, it would be that type of process where you have like the curious young energy learning and trying to figure something out, and then you have this more aged energy or older energy for the purpose of this part of the spread, for this specific scenario, that may have the answers but can approach it from a little bit of a different way, because Page of Swords can get sort of all up in their head and like all of this stuff is going on and I have no way of organizing it. And Queen of Cups is a type of energy that can be like, I can get the essence of what's going on here and pull it out, and I can like organize that for you in a way that you can then digest what you're having a difficult time digesting here. Like I can help you process that. And you would walk away from this feeling like you know truly what you want within your heart space, that is totally clarified through this. And again, like some of you may be working with a guide doing this too. Feels like you know what it is now. It's just about handling like the mental side of this and working through that. And it also does feel like something is going to be evolving, something is going to be changing a bit, and there can be a part of you that's like risk versus reward. I'm seeing the reward be very grand here, but you can also feel too at the same time like you're really gonna have to take a deep breath before you move forward with this. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.